There's a fire that burns in the soul of every person destined for greatness. But most people never let this fire reach its full intensity because they keep throwing water on it. That water comes in the form of excuses, those seemingly reasonable explanations for why success is impossible, why dreams are unrealistic, why empire building is for other people. Every excuse you make is a brick in the prison of your potential. Every justification you create is a chain around your possibilities. Every reason you give for why you can't is a wall between you and the empire you were meant to build. But here's the truth that separates empire builders from excuse makers. Your excuses are not explanations, they're eliminations. They're not reasons, they're restrictions. They're not protections, they're prisons. And the only person holding the key to your prison is you. Andrew Carnegie understood this when he arrived in America as a poor Scottish immigrant with nothing but burning ambition and an absolute refusal to make excuses. Carnegie could have blamed his poverty, his lack of education, his foreign accent, his humble beginnings. Instead, Carnegie chose to burn his excuses and build his empire. Carnegie didn't see obstacles, he saw opportunities. He didn't see limitations, he saw launching pads. He didn't see problems, he saw possibilities. While others made excuses about why the steel industry was too competitive, too complex, too capital-intensive, Carnegie was building the foundation of what would become the largest steel empire in history. The difference between Carnegie and the countless others who remained in poverty wasn't talent, wasn't luck, wasn't connections. The difference was that Carnegie refused to let excuses become his reality, while others let excuses become their refuge. Your excuses feel real because you've practiced them so long they've become beliefs. You've repeated them so often they've become truths in your mind. You've defended them so passionately they've become part of your identity. But empires are not built by people who have perfect conditions. Empires are built by people who create conditions. Empires are not built by people who wait for the right time. Empires are built by people who make the time right. Empires are not built by people who have all the resources. Empires are built by people who resourcefully use what they have. Thomas Edison could have made 1,000 excuses for why electric lighting was impossible. The technology didn't exist. The infrastructure wasn't there. The public was skeptical. The competition was fierce. The funding was limited. The failures were countless. Edison made 0 excuses and 10,000 attempts. Every excuse Edison could have made his competitors were making. Every reason Edison could have given for quitting others were using to justify their surrender. Every obstacle Edison faced, hundreds of other inventors encountered and used as evidence that success was impossible. But Edison understood something that excuse makers never understand. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they're raw materials. Challenges are not stop signs, they're construction materials. Problems are not reasons to quit, they're reasons to innovate. The excuse maker sees an obstacle and asks, "Why me?" The empire builder sees an obstacle and asks, "How can I use this?" The excuse maker sees a challenge and asks, "Why now?" The empire builder sees a challenge and asks, "What can this teach me?" The excuse maker sees a problem and asks, "Why is this happening?" The empire builder sees a problem and asks, "How is this helping?" This fundamental difference in perspective from victim to victor, from passive to active, from reactive to creative determines everything that follows. But burning your excuses requires more than just changing your perspective, it requires changing your identity. Most people's excuses are so deeply embedded in their sense of self that they can't imagine who they would be without them. I'm not good with money. I'm not a natural leader. I'm not the entrepreneurial type. I'm not smart enough. I'm not connected enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not old enough. These aren't just excuses, they're identity statements. They're not just limitations, they're self-definitions. They're not just beliefs, they're boundaries around who you think you can become. Henry Ford could have defined himself as a simple mechanic who wasn't educated enough to revolutionize transportation. Instead, Ford chose to define himself as an innovator who would put America on wheels. Ford's identity wasn't determined by his past, it was determined by his vision. The excuse maker's identity is shaped by their limitations. The empire builder's identity is shaped by their aspirations. The excuse maker asks, "Who am I to think I can do this?" The empire builder asks, "Who am I not to do this?" The excuse maker says, "I'm not the type of person who builds empires." The empire builder says, "I'm becoming the type of person who builds empires." But becoming an empire builder requires you to understand that your current self got you to where you are, but your future self will get you to where you want to be. The bridge between your current self and your future self is not built with excuses, it's built with decisions. Every excuse you burn is a decision to grow. Every justification you eliminate is a decision to evolve. Every limitation you reject is a decision to transform. Walt Disney faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure, setback after setback. Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. His first animation company went bankrupt. Mickey Mouse was rejected by 300 publishers. Disney had enough material for a lifetime of excuses. Disney chose to use his setbacks as setups for comebacks. While others made excuses about why the entertainment industry was too difficult, too competitive, too unpredictable, Disney was creating magic. While others justified their failures as proof that success was impossible, Disney used his failures as fuel for innovation. Disney understood that every excuse you make weakens your resolve, while every excuse you burn strengthens your determination. Every limitation you accept diminishes your power, while every limitation you reject expands your possibilities. The empire builder knows that excuses are expensive. They cost you opportunities, relationships, growth, achievement, fulfillment. The price of excuses is the empire you never build, the impact you never make, the legacy you never leave. But excuses feel comfortable because they remove responsibility. They make failure someone else's fault, success, someone else's privilege, achievement, someone else's possibility. Excuses are emotional anesthesia. They numb the pain of disappointment, but they also numb the joy of possibility. Abraham Lincoln could have made countless excuses for why he couldn't lead America through its greatest crisis. He was born in poverty, raised in a log cabin, largely self-educated. He had failed in business, lost elections, faced constant criticism. He had every reason to believe that extraordinary leadership was beyond his capabilities. Lincoln chose to burn his excuses and build a legacy. Lincoln understood that excuses might explain your past, but they will imprison your future. Excuses might justify where you've been, but they will limit where you can go. Excuses might comfort you in the moment, but they will confine you for a lifetime. The excuse maker lives in the past, explaining yesterday's failures. The empire builder lives in the future, creating tomorrow's successes. The excuse maker is a historian of disappointment. The empire builder is an architect of achievement. The excuse maker chronicles problems. The empire builder creates solutions. But creating solutions requires you to develop what Napoleon Hill called definiteness of purpose, a clear, specific, burning desire for what you want to build. Excuses thrive in vagueness, but die in clarity. Justifications flourish in confusion, but perish in conviction. When your purpose is definite, excuses become irrelevant. When your vision is clear, obstacles become opportunities. When your commitment is absolute, challenges become catalysts. John D. Rockefeller's definite purpose was to bring order and efficiency to the chaotic oil industry. This purpose was so clear, so compelling, so consuming that excuses had no room to grow. Every decision Rockefeller made, every action he took, every sacrifice he accepted was filtered through this definite purpose. Rockefeller could have made excuses about market volatility, regulatory challenges, competitive pressures. Instead, Rockefeller used these challenges as opportunities to demonstrate the value of systematic organization and strategic thinking. The excuse maker has vague wishes. The empire builder has definite purposes. The excuse maker hopes for better circumstances. The empire builder creates circumstances. The excuse maker waits for conditions to improve. The empire builder improves conditions. This definiteness of purpose must be supported by burning desire, a level of want so intense that failure becomes impossible because quitting becomes unthinkable. Most people want success the way they want dessert. It would be nice, but they can live without it. Empire builders want success the way they want oxygen. Not having it is not an option. Colonel Sanders was 62 years old, broke, and living on Social Security when his burning desire to share his chicken recipe with the world overcame every excuse age, poverty, and circumstance could provide. Sanders was rejected 9 times before someone said yes. Sanders could have made the ultimate excuse, "I'm too old to start over." Instead, Sanders proved that burning desire burns brighter than any excuse. The excuse maker's desire is lukewarm. The empire builder's desire is white hot. The excuse maker wants success when it's convenient. The empire builder needs success, like they need air. The excuse maker's desire competes with their comfort. The empire builder's desire consumes their comfort. But desire without discipline is just wishful thinking. Discipline is what transforms burning desire into building blocks, converts passion into progress, changes dreams into reality. Discipline means doing what you committed to do long after the mood you made the commitment in has passed. Discipline means keeping promises to yourself even when no one else is watching. Discipline means choosing long-term empire over short-term ease. The excuse maker does what they feel like doing when they feel like doing it. The empire builder does what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not. The excuse maker is controlled by their emotions. The empire builder controls their emotions. The excuse maker lets feelings drive decisions. The empire builder lets decisions drive feelings. Oprah Winfrey transformed a childhood of abuse, poverty, and trauma into an empire of influence, inspiration, and impact. Winfrey could have used her difficult past as an excuse for a limited future. Instead, Winfrey used her painful experiences as fuel for her powerful mission. Every obstacle Winfrey faced became an opportunity to develop strength. Every setback became a setup for a comeback. Every challenge became a chance to prove that circumstances don't determine destiny, decisions do. Winfrey's discipline in transforming pain into purpose, trauma into triumph, obstacles into opportunities created an empire that has touched millions of lives worldwide. But discipline must be channeled through consistent action. The excuse maker plans to act, but never acts on their plans. The empire builder acts their way into better thinking, rather than thinking their way into better acting. Action is what transforms potential into reality, possibilities into achievements, dreams into empires. The excuse maker waits for perfect conditions before taking action. The empire builder takes action to create perfect conditions. The excuse maker waits until they know everything before they do anything. The empire builder learns by doing. The excuse maker waits for permission from others. The empire builder gives themselves permission. Sarah Blakely transformed a simple idea and $5,000 into a billion-dollar empire by taking action despite having no experience in fashion, no connections in retail, no background in manufacturing. Blakely could have made countless excuses about what she lacked. Blakely chose to focus on what she could do with what she had. Blakely researched patents at the library, cold-called manufacturers, pitched department stores without appointments, appeared on television without media training. Every action Blakely took burned another excuse and built another piece of her empire. The excuse maker thinks their way into acting. The empire builder acts their way into thinking. The excuse maker needs certainty before starting. The empire builder creates certainty by starting. The excuse maker demands guarantees. The empire builder provides guarantees through excellence. But action without adaptability is just stubborn activity. Empire builders understand that the path to success is not straight, not smooth, not predictable. They adapt their methods while maintaining their mission, adjust their tactics while preserving their vision. The excuse maker quits when their first approach doesn't work. The empire builder adapts when their current approach needs improvement. The The excuse maker sees obstacles as stop signs. The empire builder sees obstacles as detour signs. The excuse maker uses temporary setbacks as permanent excuses. The empire builder uses temporary setbacks as permanent lessons. James Dyson created 5,126 prototypes before perfecting his revolutionary vacuum design. Each failure could have been an excuse to quit. Instead, each failure became information for improvement. Dyson understood that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the raw material of success. Every prototype that didn't work taught Dyson something that brought him closer to the one that would work perfectly. The excuse maker sees failure as proof they should stop. The empire builder sees failure as proof they're learning. The excuse maker takes failure personally. The empire builder takes failure professionally. The excuse maker lets failure define them. The empire builder lets failure refine them. This ability to learn from setbacks while maintaining forward momentum requires exceptional resilience. Resilience is not just bouncing back from adversity. Resilience is bouncing forward through adversity. The excuse maker lets circumstances determine their emotional state. The empire builder controls their emotional state regardless of circumstances. The excuse maker is an emotional thermometer reflecting the temperature of their environment. The empire builder is an emotional thermostat controlling the temperature of their environment. The excuse maker asks, why is this happening to me? The empire builder asks, how can I use this to build my empire? Steve Jobs was fired from the company he founded, faced life-threatening illness, encountered countless setbacks and challenges. Jobs could have used any of these experiences as excuses for settling, for playing it safe, for accepting limitation. Jobs used every challenge as fuel for innovation, every setback as setup for breakthrough, every obstacle as opportunity for excellence. Jobs understood that resilience is not about avoiding storms. Resilience is about learning to dance in the rain. Empire builders don't wait for perfect weather, they create their own climate for success. But resilience must be supported by continuous learning and growth. The excuse maker stops learning and uses ignorance as an excuse for inaction. The empire builder never stops learning and uses knowledge as fuel for action. The excuse maker thinks education is expensive. The empire builder knows ignorance is expensive. The excuse maker learns when they have to. The empire builder learns because they want to. The excuse maker reads for entertainment. The empire builder reads for enhancement. Warren Buffett reads 500 pages every day because Buffett understands that knowledge compounds like interest. Every book Buffett reads makes the next book more valuable. Every concept he learns connects with previous learning to create new insights. Buffett could make excuses about not having time to read, being too busy with business, having learned enough already. Instead, Buffett treats learning like breathing, not optional, but essential. The excuse maker thinks they know enough. The empire builder knows they don't know enough. The excuse maker stops growing and starts stagnating. The empire builder never stops growing and never stops achieving. The excuse maker's mind becomes a closed system. The empire builder's mind remains an open system. This commitment to continuous learning must be matched by the courage to take calculated risks. The excuse maker avoids all risk and gets no reward. The empire builder takes intelligent risks and receives proportional rewards. The excuse maker sees risk as danger. The empire builder sees risk as opportunity. The excuse maker lets fear of loss prevent potential gain. The empire builder lets possibility of gain motivate intelligent risk. Richard Branson built the Virgin Empire by taking calculated risks that others were afraid to take. Every Virgin Business Records airline space travel started with a risk that excuse makers would have avoided. Branson could have made excuses about market competition, regulatory challenges, financial requirements. Instead, Branson used these challenges as opportunities to differentiate, innovate, and excel. The excuse maker takes no risks and wonders why nothing changes. The empire builder takes calculated risks and wonders why everything improves. The excuse maker plays not to lose. The empire builder plays to win. The excuse maker seeks safety and finds stagnation. The empire builder seeks growth and finds greatness. But taking risks requires building the skills and capabilities necessary for success. The excuse maker assumes they don't have the necessary skills and uses this as justification for inaction. The empire builder develops whatever skills their empire requires. The excuse maker says, "I don't know how." The empire builder says, "I'll figure out how." The excuse maker focuses on what they lack. The empire builder focuses on what they can develop. The excuse maker sees skill gaps as permanent limitations. The empire builder sees skill gaps as temporary challenges. Elon Musk didn't know how to build rockets when he started SpaceX, didn't know how to manufacture cars when he founded Tesla, didn't know how to create global internet when he launched Starlink. Musk could have used his lack of industry experience as an excuse for not attempting these ventures. Musk chose to learn whatever his vision required. Musk hired experts, studied relentlessly, experimented boldly, failed, quickly learned constantly. Every skill gap became an opportunity for growth. Every knowledge deficit became a chance for development. The excuse maker sees what they don't know as a reason to quit. The empire builder sees what they don't know as a reason to learn. The excuse maker is intimidated by complexity. The empire builder is motivated by challenge. The excuse maker avoids what they don't understand. The empire builder masters what they need to understand. This mastery mindset must be combined with the ability to build and lead teams. No empire is built by a single person. Every great achievement requires great collaboration. Extraordinary vision requires extraordinary teams. The excuse maker works alone and stays overwhelmed. The empire builder builds teams and multiplies results. The excuse maker sees other people as competition. The empire builder sees other people as collaboration. The excuse maker hoards opportunities. The empire builder shares opportunities. Jeff Bezos built Amazon not by doing everything himself, but by attracting brilliant people who shared his vision of becoming Earth's most customer-centric company. Bezos could have made excuses about not having all the necessary skills, not knowing every aspect of the business, not being expert in every area. Bezos chose to build a team of experts rather than try to become an expert in everything. The excuse maker thinks they need to know everything. The empire builder knows they need to know everyone. The excuse maker tries to do everything alone. The empire builder builds systems with others. The excuse maker seeks to be indispensable. The empire builder seeks to make others indispensable. But building teams and systems requires clear communication of vision and values. The excuse maker has a vision but can't communicate it effectively. The empire builder develops both vision and the ability to share that vision compellingly. The excuse maker thinks communication is talking. The empire builder knows communication is connecting. The excuse maker tries to impress with complexity. The empire builder influences with clarity. The excuse maker speaks about what they want. The empire builder speaks about what others need. Every great leader throughout history has been a great communicator. Martin Luther King Jr. communicated dreams that changed a nation. John F. Kennedy communicated visions that reached the moon. Churchill communicated courage that saved a civilization. These leaders could have made excuses about the difficulty of their challenges, the resistance they faced, the obstacles they encountered. Instead, they burned their excuses and built movements that changed the world. The excuse maker has something to say but doesn't know how to say it. The empire builder develops both the message and the ability to deliver it powerfully. The excuse maker communicates occasionally. The empire builder communicates consistently. The excuse maker talks to people. The empire builder connects with people. This ability to connect with people must be grounded in authentic character and uncompromising integrity. The excuse maker tries to appear successful without becoming successful. The empire builder focuses on being successful rather than seeming successful. The excuse maker manages impressions. The empire builder builds character. The excuse maker seeks shortcuts. The empire builder takes the scenic route through character development. The excuse maker compromises values for temporary gain. The empire builder protects values for permanent success. Warren Buffett's empire is built on absolute integrity. Buffett's word is his bond, his character is his currency, his reputation is his greatest asset. This integrity has created trust, and trust has created unprecedented success. Buffett could make excuses about competitive pressures, market expectations, quarterly demands. Instead, Buffett maintains his standards regardless of external pressures. The excuse maker adapts their character to circumstances. The empire builder adapts circumstances to their character. The excuse maker has flexible ethics. The empire builder has fixed principles. The excuse maker does what's expedient. The empire builder does what's right. This foundation of character supports all other success principles and ensures that the empire you build lasts beyond temporary circumstances, economic cycles, and market fluctuations. But perhaps most importantly, burning your excuses and building your empire requires you to understand that you are not entitled to success, you are empowered for success. The excuse maker believes they deserve success without earning it. The empire builder knows they must create success by serving others. The excuse maker focuses on what they can get. The empire builder focuses on what they can give. The excuse maker seeks to extract value. The empire builder seeks to create value. The excuse maker asks, "What's in it for me?" The empire builder asks, "What's in it for them?" Every empire in history has been built by serving others at a higher level. Carnegie served America's infrastructure needs. Ford served America's transportation needs. Disney served America's entertainment needs. Jobs served humanity's technology needs. The excuse maker thinks about their own problems. The empire builder thinks about everyone's problems. The excuse maker serves themselves. The empire builder serves others. The excuse maker creates value for one. The empire builder creates value for many. This service orientation transforms empire building from selfish ambition to noble mission, from personal gain to public good, from individual achievement to collective advancement. And when you truly burn your excuses and commit to building your empire, something extraordinary happens. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being a creator of circumstances. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "Why not me?" You stop saying, "I can't because," and start saying, "I will by." You stop thinking "if only" and start thinking "what if." This transformation from excuse maker to empire builder is available to everyone but achieved by few. It requires courage to face your limitations, wisdom to overcome your obstacles, persistence to outlast your challenges. But the rewards are extraordinary. The empire you build, the impact you make, the legacy you leave, the life you live. Your excuses are waiting to be burned. Your empire is waiting to be built. Your destiny is waiting to be claimed. The fire of greatness burns within you. The only question is, will you throw water on it with excuses or will you fuel it with action? The choice is yours. The time is now. The empire awaits. Burn your excuses. Build your empire. Become the person you were born to be. If this message ignited the fire of possibility within you, if you felt that unmistakable stirring of ambition, that awakening of empire-building potential, then you're ready to burn your excuses and build your empire. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to stop making excuses and start making history. Share this message with someone who needs to burn their excuses and build their empire. And comment below, what excuse will you burn today and what empire will you start building? Remember, every excuse you burn is fuel for your empire. Every limitation you reject is power for your achievement. Every justification you eliminate is energy for your success. The greatest empires in history were built by people who had every reason to make excuses but chose to burn them instead. Your empire is waiting for you to make the same choice. Stop making excuses. Start building your empire. The world needs what only you can create when you burn your excuses and build with unstoppable determination. Your empire begins the moment your excuses end.